Good morning, or depending on when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name is Ross, and as always told, I had a voice for radio. So today we are continuing our celebration of the release of Lost Thunder. I've done a top 10, I've opened a booster box, I'll pop links to those in the description. We are having a look at the theme decks. You see, there's been a theme lately, in that these theme decks have been really good and full of really playable cards and genuinely worth buying. So I thought we'd have a look at the ones from Lost Thunder. Shout out to the lovely Ziplip over on Twitter, who did send us pictures of the back of these, and they feature Entei and Raikou. So if we start off with Entei then, I mean, Entei's fine. It's not a game-breaking, game-ending card or anything like that. It's not some kind of brilliant, gonna set the world on fire kind of card. It's alright. It's a decent non-GX fire attacker. And it's not one of the ones where you would buy the theme deck for Entei. However, if we take a look at the rest of the deck list, it actually becomes really good. You get a couple of Blaziken, and ladies and gentlemen, there is no Blaziken in Legendary Treasures. There just isn't. There is only one Blaziken which has been released in the Sun and Moon era. It's Blaziken from Dragon Majesty, ergo this has to be the Blaziken from Dragon Majesty. The one that's a stage 2, but it's got the same ability as Malamar, but for fire Pokemon, in that once per turn you get to attach a fire energy from your discard to one of your bench Pokemon. That's really good. It's not seen a huge amount of play yet, but Alolan Ninetales, as we've said on a number of occasions, is making Stage 2 decks a lot more viable in the post-Lost Thunder format. So yeah, I love this. This is awesome. So we love the fact that we're getting a couple of Blaziken in here. We're also getting a Makago, which is awesome. This is the one that's got the amazing ability, the one from Celestial Storm, that allows you to put any card from your deck on top of your deck. It increases consistency. I mean, especially with something like a Blaziken deck, you're going to really want a rare candy. This will help you to grab that. Although, side note, there is no rare candy in this particular deck. But still, Makago's a really good card. And then we see one copy of Shuckle, which should be the Shuckle from Legendary Treasures. That's the one with the amazing ability, whereby when you pop it onto the bench, you get to search your deck for free basic energy and discard them. This is absolutely vital in Malamar decks, or, you know, Blaziken decks, and it's vital in Naganadel decks, which look like they're about to start ruling the format, starting with Legendary Treasures. So as far as I'm concerned, ladies and gentlemen, this is phenomenal. I love that we're getting Shuckle in here. Now, there are other Pokemon. The whole list is up on the screen. We're not going to go into huge detail. They're not all amazing. But the fact that you're getting Blaziken, and you're getting Makago, and you're getting Shuckle is really, really good here. Now, if we move into the trainer cards, again, we're not going to focus on all of them, but some of them are really quite nice here. You are getting a copy of Copycat. That's a really good draw supporter. You're getting a copy of Guzma, which is an absolute staple in every deck at the moment. Drags a Pokemon off the bench so that you can KO it. You're getting a copy of Lily, which is one of the best draw supporters we've got at the moment. It's phenomenal. Not to mention a copy of Mallow, which is not seeing as much play, but it's still pretty good. 2 copies of Nest Ball. This is, after probably Ultra Ball, the best Pokemon search we've got at the moment. It's seeing a huge amount of play. We also see 1 copy of Pokemon Fan Club, which is a bit of a fringe supporter, which is played to get your basics out. And 1 copy of Professor Kukui, which is good for doing a bit of extra damage and drawing a couple of cards. And when I say 1 copy, I of course mean 2. This sees play in a whole bunch of decks. We see 2 copies of Rescue Stretcher, which is the Pokemon recovery decks are playing right now. We see 1 copy of Sightseer, which is a phenomenal card, which lets you discard as many cards as you like and then draw till you got 5 in hand. Again, it is vital in Malamar and Naganadel decks, also Blaziken. 1 copy of Tate and Liza, which is a really good draw supporter, which can also work as a switch. 2 copies of Timeable, flip 2 coins for each head, search your deck for an evolution Pokemon, put it in your hand. That's seeing play in a bunch of evolution decks. 2 copies of TV Reporter, which is seeing play in some of these decks we keep mentioning that need to discard energy. Draw 3, then discard 1. And what's awesome about this is that if you don't have the card in hand that you want to discard right now, you play TV Reporter, and then hopefully you draw into it, and then get to discard it, which sounds pretty nice to me. And then we see 1 copy of Ultra Ball, which, as I've said, is the best Pokemon search in the format. There are lots of really good playable cards in this, and even if you don't want to buy the theme deck, although the quality of these has vastly increased, remember that cards like Macargo and Shuckle, which would otherwise be more expensive, will always be cheaper because they're available in theme decks. Which means even if you don't want to buy the theme deck, the price of these will be lower because of the theme decks. Moving into the Raikou theme deck, I think Raikou is the better of the two. It is a pretty good Pokemon that does 120 damage for a Lightning and a Colorless. Don't forget about Counter Energy. Don't forget about Thunder Mountain, which brings it down to a single Colorless Energy. And don't forget about Counter Gain, which brings it down to a single Lightning Energy. Yeah, this is a really good Pokemon. You do need to have a Lightning Energy in the Lost Zone. The best Pokemon for doing that is the Ampharos from Legendary Treasures, whereby you can put 2 Lightning Energy from your hand into the Lost Zone, and then your opponent's Pokemon is automatically paralyzed. Oh yeah, you get 2 Ampharos in this deck. It's got to be that Ampharos. Literally, it's got to be. It's the only legal one we've got at the moment. Then we see a copy of Zebstrika, which is clearly the one from Legendary Treasures, which is the one with the amazing ability, discard your hand and draw 4 cards. I know there is a bug going around PTCGO at the moment that won't let you use it if you've got a 0-card hand. That is definitely a bug. You can definitely use it with no cards in hand. So getting Zebstrika is pretty good. That's going to see a lot of play. And then we see 2 copies of Naganadel. When I did my top 10 cards for Lost Thunder, link in the description, I put Naganadel as the best card in the set. I think it's phenomenal. I think it's great. I think it's over the top. You get 2 copies in a theme deck. This has seen a lot of play and success with a whole bunch of Pokemon, ranging from Tapu Koko and Blacephalon, along with stuff like Suicune GX, all the way through to weirder things like Blissey from Legendary Treasures, and the Turtonator from Dragon Majesty. This is such an amazing card. And like I've said, maybe you don't want to buy this theme deck. Well, Naganadel was destined to be a really expensive card because it's phenomenal. This will keep it down. We then, in terms of trainer cards, see a copy of Copycat, which is quite nice. A copy of Energy Switch, really good in Naganadel decks to switch that energy to something else. So that's quite nice, and it sees a bit of play in a bunch of decks. 1 copy of Escape Rope, which does see play in a bunch of decks. We do see 2 copies of How, which is not a great supporter. Bit of play here and there, but not very much. We again see a copy of Lily. We see a copy of Lady, which lets you search for 4 basic energy. Not a great card, but for something like Ampharos, where you need energy in your hand, that could be quite good. Couple copies of Nestball, copy of Fan Club, 2 Professor Kukui, 2 Rescue Stretcher, 1 Switch, which is always really handy. It's a very standard card, but it sees play, you'd need Switch. 1 copy of Tate and Liza, 2 copies of Timeable, and 1 copy of Ultra Ball. And all that adds up to me loving these theme decks. Somebody at the Pokemon Company International is taking a lot more care and attention to make these theme decks great than they used to. Every theme deck has got multiple playable trainers in, and they're really spoiling us with the Pokemon. The Entei deck has Blaziken, Shuckle, and Macargo, And the Raikou deck has Ampharos, Zeb Striker and Naganadel. This is over the top great, ladies and gentlemen. I love these theme decks. I think these are the kind of things we need to be supporting. We need to show the Pokemon Company that we really appreciate these. People used to moan incessantly about the theme decks. They don't have enough good cards. Well, now they do. So if you know newer players, maybe these will be a great present idea. And even if not, and even if you don't buy them, please at least be thankful that cards like Naganadel that would otherwise be far more expensive will always be cheaper because you can get it in a theme deck. So ladies and gentlemen, let's share our love of the theme decks. Tell me which of these two you think is the best. Tell me whatever you like. Go nuts, but please do remember the rule. Be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at @TheWassy, and Twitch for some live action at twitch.tv/PTCG Radio. If you want to support the channel, get some bonus podcasts and all of that, head on over to patreon.com/PTCG Radio, where you can do exactly that. And do make sure you're checking out youtube.com/WassyPlays, where we talk Transformers, we talk Dragon Ball, we talk Keyforge, and we talk video games. But by far the most important thing, as always, is to look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.